I was clutching my baby boy, Daniel, barely a year old, his forehead scorching like fire against my cheek. It was 3 a.m. The house was silent except for his shallow cries, weak and desperate. My heart pounded. I knew something was wrong. His skin was slick with sweat, and every gasp of air rattled as if his tiny lungs were fighting a war. I rushed to my parents' bedroom door, banging with my fist, whispering, then shouting, "Please, please, I need a ride to the hospital. He's burning up." The door creaked open, and my mom's face appeared, twisted with irritation. She didn't even look at my son. She looked at me like I was some nuisance, some stranger at the door. "Do you have any idea what time it is?" she hissed. "You'll wake your sister." Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments, from where are you watching this video? "Mom, he's burning. He can't breathe right," I begged, shifting Daniel in my arms as he whimpered. "Please, I don't have a car. Just drive me. It's an emergency." Behind her, my dad's voice thundered out, annoyed and cruel. "Shut the damn door, Susan. Don't disturb us for every sniffle. If the kid's sick, he'll survive or he won't. Not our problem." I froze. My baby cried against my chest, body limp, and all I could think was that I was completely alone. My mom stepped into the doorway fully, blocking me. She smirked, a nasty curl of her lip. "Your sister has a pageant tomorrow. She needs her beauty sleep. Don't drag us into your drama." And then, with no hesitation, she slammed the door in my face. The sound echoed through the hallway like a gunshot. I stood there trembling, my tears dropping onto Daniel's hot skin. I shook the knob, but it was locked. From behind the door, I heard muffled laughter. My father's voice again. "She thinks we're her damn taxi service. If the brat can't afford an Uber, too bad." I stumbled back, cradling my son closer, whispering to him, "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here. I'll get you help." I had no money left on my phone, no neighbors I trusted at this hour. The night air outside was freezing, but I ran into it anyway, barefoot, clutching Daniel to my chest. The street was deserted, streetlights flickered. I tried to flag down the few cars that passed, but they sped by, glancing at me like I was some desperate stranger, not a mother carrying a feverish child. My arms ached, my chest heaved, and all I could hear was my baby's faint, fragile whimpers. I wanted to scream, to pound on every door in the neighborhood, but I didn't. I kept running, hoping, praying. Eventually, an old man driving a beat-up truck pulled over. He rolled down the window, his face creased with shock. "Ma'am, what happened? That baby don't look right." I couldn't even form words. "Hospital," I choked out. "Please." He didn't hesitate. He opened the door and I climbed in, still clutching Daniel as if letting go meant losing him forever. The whole ride, I kept glancing at him, whispering, "Stay with me, baby, stay with me," while that stranger drove faster than anyone ever had for me. Hours later, after doctors rushed Daniel into emergency care, I sat in the sterile waiting room, trembling, clothes soaked with sweat and tears. And I kept hearing their voices in my head, my dad sneering, "Not our problem," my mom spitting, "Your sister needs her beauty sleep." That was the night I knew something broke in me. Something died, yes, but something else was born too. The old version of me who begged at their door was gone. What was left was a silence sharper than any scream, a silence that began plotting exactly how they'd choke on the same cruelty they threw at me. The hospital smelled like bleach and fear. I sat in that plastic chair, arms folded around myself, shivering though the air was warm. Hours passed before the doctor finally came out. "Your baby had a dangerously high fever. If you hadn't brought him when you did..." He trailed off, shaking his head. "You saved his life." I nodded, but my throat was tight. Saved his life. Alone. No family by my side. No mother rubbing my shoulder. No father pacing with worry. No sibling holding my hand. Just me, and a stranger with a rusted truck who cared more in 2 minutes than my parents had in my entire life. When the sun came up, I went back to their house, Daniel bundled in a hospital blanket. My mom was sipping coffee at the kitchen table, scrolling on her phone. My dad was reading the sports page. My sister Rachel was in full makeup already, curling her hair for her big day. "Where were you all night?" my mom asked flatly, like I'd inconvenienced her. I laughed bitterly. "At the hospital. With your grandson, he almost died." Rachel rolled her eyes. "God, you're so dramatic. He's fine, isn't he? Why do you always need attention?" My dad didn't even look up from his newspaper. "You shouldn't have kids if you can't handle a fever." I clenched my fists so hard my nails cut into my palms. I wanted to scream. Instead, I just nodded, walked past them, and went upstairs. But something shifted in me. I stopped begging for scraps of love. Instead, I started watching them, listening, planning. Over the next few weeks, I noticed things. Rachel bragging online about her expensive clothes and pageants. My parents fawning over her like she was a celebrity. "Our beautiful girl," my mom gushed at every photo shoot. My dad even dipped into his retirement savings to buy Rachel a brand new convertible, so she could arrive in style. Meanwhile, I struggled to keep the lights on, to buy formula, to pay rent. One night, when I whispered if I could borrow $50 just to cover bills, my mom sneered. "We're not wasting money on you. Rachel brings us pride. You just bring us problems." That was the final straw. I realized then, to them, Rachel wasn't just the golden child. She was their entire identity. Everything they valued, everything they showed off to the world, was wrapped up in her shine. And me? I was just the shadow. So I decided to flip the lights. I started small. I made friends with one of Rachel's pageant rivals, a girl named Tasha, who'd been quietly humiliated by my sister for years. Rachel once called her a cow in lipstick in front of the judges. Tasha remembered. She still burned with it. "Why are you telling me this?" she asked, suspicious, when I hinted at Rachel's dirty secrets. "Because," I said, looking her straight in the eye, "I know exactly what they don't want anyone to see, and I think you'll enjoy watching her fall as much as I will." The seed was planted. At home, I acted quieter than ever. They thought I was broken, that their cruelty had finally worked. My mom would laugh, "Look at her, so obedient now," while my dad smirked, "Guess she finally learned her place." Rachel would toss her perfect curls and chirp, "Good, maybe she'll stop embarrassing us." But I wasn't broken. I was sharpening. Every cruel word was fuel. Every slammed door, every laugh at my pain was a match I was saving for the fire. And I promised myself they'd feel what I felt that night outside their door. Alone, helpless, desperate. Only this time, no one would open the door for them. The plan didn't happen overnight. I waited. I let them get comfortable, let them laugh louder, let Rachel sparkle brighter. Then I started tugging on the strings. The first thread unraveled when Rachel was prepping for her biggest pageant yet. She was the favorite to win. Sponsors lined up. My parents bragged to anyone who would listen. "Our Rachel is going to be Miss State. She'll put this family on the map." But Rachel had a habit. She treated everyone beneath her like trash. Makeup artists, assistants, even the judges when she thought no one was listening, and I had recordings, clear audio of her hissing, "You're nothing but tools, I'm the star." She even mocked one of the judges' disabled daughter. I leaked it, not online, too easy, too traceable. I sent it straight to the rival pageant mom groups, the ones Rachel had humiliated. They spread it like wildfire. By the night of the pageant, Rachel's reputation was a smoking crater. Sponsors pulled out. The judges sat stone-faced when she walked on stage. She didn't even place. My mom's face twisted in horror. My dad muttered curses under his breath. Rachel came home screaming, mascara streaking down her face. Who did this? Who ruined me? I just rocked Daniel in my arms and said quietly, "Some things burn from the inside out." But that wasn't the end. That was only the start. Weeks later, my parents faced their own collapse. They had always bragged about Rachel, parading her as proof they were perfect parents. But with Rachel's fall came whispers. Neighbors who once envied them now smirked. Old friends stopped inviting them over. At church, people avoided their pew. My parents, the king and queen of appearances, were suddenly the laughingstock. And then came the knockout. Remember Tasha, Rachel's rival? Her uncle happened to own the property where my parents rented their small business, a boutique they'd sunk all their money into. When he heard the recordings and learned how Rachel had tormented his niece, he called in favors. Their lease wasn't renewed. My parents begged, groveled, screamed, but it was too late. I stood in the parking lot with Daniel on my hip, watching as they hauled boxes out of their shop, faces pale, broken. My mom spotted me, her eyes filled with rage. You did this, she spat. My dad staggered toward me, voice cracking with fury. After everything we gave you. I cut him off, my voice sharp and cold. Everything you gave me. You slammed the door in my face while my baby burned with fever. You told me he wasn't worth waking you up, remember? They froze. The memory was a knife they couldn't dull. You'll never know what it's like to stand in the cold at 3 a.m., praying your child doesn't die in your arms, I whispered, my eyes locked on theirs. But you'll know what it's like to beg for help and hear nothing but a door slam. Rachel collapsed on the curb, sobbing, makeup smeared, clutching at her ruined crown. My parents stood behind her, hollow, as the last piece of their pride was carted away in cardboard boxes. I turned, adjusting Daniel in my arms. He stirred softly, his fever long gone, his breathing steady. I kissed his hair and walked away. And behind me, I heard nothing but silence, the same silence they gave me. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.